What's up, and welcome to the Kesha Sadet Show. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about survival. Now, as you know, the Houston metropolitan area has survived. Yes, I think I can say now we survived a Category 1 hurricane by the name of Beryl. He, whatever it is, has literally barreled its way across our path last week. So, we're blessed. And as you can see, that our word of the day is going to be survival. So I want to talk a little bit about surviving. No power, no problem. Throughout the storm, we're going to talk a little bit about the new Tyler Perry movie that I had um, blessed to see, have been blessed to see, I could say. It was good. The critics say it was horrible. A lot of people on media saying it's horrible, but it's really dealing with the reality of certain situations that are plaguing our African American community that we sometimes hide under the rug or we suffer in silence. So I dug deep with this episode, not episode. I'm going to dig deep on this episode about that movie that Mr. TPE put out. But if that sounds like something that you want to chat it up with me about for a little bit, and I say just go ahead and grab a coffee, go ahead and grab a drink. I have my smoothie on the go. It's very, very good, guys. I love having a smoothie for breakfast because I'm not a big breakfast person, so I'm never really hungry. But without further ado, I can't talk today, y'all. I think it's me being off and out of sync for so long, survive and barrel. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys. So as you can see on my screen, this is a little clip that I taken personally while I was literally the only one up in my house. Yeah, my husband and my daughter, they sleep like troopers. I mean, they slept through the storm for the most part, and I was up with the dogs watching the storm come through or barrel through, I should say, pun intended. But I'm gonna give you a little clip of that. This is kind of what we experienced in our area. We live in suburbia, so it hit us hard first before it got into the city. As you can tell, you can hear my neighbor's generator going, and let me tell you, that's PTSD in itself because I literally feel like 3 days after the storm, I heard, yes, I heard his generator still humming in my ear. So that's definitely an investment. Me and my husband were talking about we are gonna go ahead and do it. Um, just because of times like this, just because of there may be some flukes where power is outed and goes out, and we definitely don't want to go through what we went through last week. So you can see in this little clip, the winds was picking up. This was kinda on the down end of it kinda leaving us and going into the city, so we had, like, these intermittent wind gusts that was coming through, um, but before that, it was literally it was rough, it was loud, it was beaten up. There's actually another video, I actually didn't, upload it on here, but we lost a part of our fence, so we're having to get a new fence installed. We are let me just say this, I am not complaining, I am just acknowledging, we are very blessed that we were only without power for 4 days, as some were without power for 8 days, and there are still a handful of people that are out of power due to this storm. So, we are definitely not complaining. We recognize that we are blessed. We only lost the gate, praise the Lord. It could have been worse. It always can be worse. So, The key word today is survival, surviving barrel. What we did is interesting because, these storms always bring about recognizing the things that we all take for granted. So in my household, we literally it slowed us down, and you've heard me talk a little bit about on this channel, on this podcast, slowing down, hitting the reset button, being in the moment. It literally slowed us down to the point where we couldn't do anything but connect with each other, play board games, back in the day. I'm a child of the board game era. Okay, let me tell you. We played board games. That was our thing. We would go in the summertime if we weren't riding bikes, we would go to our friend's house and we would play board games. Monopoly can either make or break some friendships, let me tell you. But we play board games. And so pulling out those board games for a generation now for my kid was like, oh, what is this? You mean I can't play on my phone, or I can't talk on my phone, or I can't play a game on my phone? Well, yeah, she did still have some downloads. So she was able, even though we did not have electricity, to be able to play some of those games. But introducing her to the idea of, look what we used to do, because honey, please believe we didn't have all of that back in the day. Okay. We didn't have all these download games. We had a Nintendo, an Atari. I'm aging myself, good Lord. An Atari and board games. And we made it work. And we had a VCR. Those of you in the back that know what a VCR is, please raise your hand. Don't laugh at me. Okay. Because a VCR was the bomb.com. Yes. Yes, VCR, honey. Let me tell you, fun fact. My husband will drag me through the mud on this. Until this day, he laughs. When he first met me 15 years ago, guess who still had her old VCR in her apartment? Hello. Yeah, me, your girl. Yeah, Kesha said it. So I love VCRs, and I still had all of my collections, all of my VCRs. He made me get rid of my VCR. I'm so mad to this day because some of my favorite movies were on um, the tapes, the VCR tapes, the cartridges, the tapes, whatever you call them. I can't even think right now. I told you my brain is still trying to catch up from last week, but anywho, I mean, things like that. Like, I'm a person that thrives and lives in nostalgia. I am the person that still wants the little Chevette. I always wanted a Chevette. Don't laugh. And still do. I still want a Chevette. I told my husband for my 25th anniversary or 20th anniversary, I want a Chevette on the driveway. Hello. hmm But he's a millennial. He don't understand. These millennials, they a whole nother breed. A whole nother breed. But I'm not getting into all that. But yeah, I mean, learning to appreciate the simple stuff, learning to spend quality time, quality moments. Because when you think about when we're going through our daily lives with all of our blessings that we have, one being a blessing of uh, electricity, power, the art of being able to take a shower every day. Now, there were some people that did not have water on top of not having power. Like, oh my God, I could not even imagine. So, being blessed to have those blessings every day. Now, when those blessings are taken away for whatever reason, you dwell in the fact that what could I do to get it back? If I only had it back, if I only had it back. That's what they say. You never miss a good thing till it's gone. Bam. There's one of them. But being able to kind of take that time to really indulge in the family members that you're spending that time with, that you're trapped in the house with, that you're able to build more memories with is very, very special. I think it's a time for us to just sit and be still, and as a culture right now, it's very hard to do that because people are always striving to do more. Um, if you're like me, you have to stay busy because there's so many things you want to get done and accomplished. Now, mind you, when that power came back on, I was in full speed because I had all this energy saved up from the week that I was like, oh, I have a whole list of stuff I need to do. I need to get my house back in order. So that was like priority number one. But when you're in that space, when you're taking that time for what it is, you cannot go anywhere. You cannot do anything. You are forced to sit down. Then only will you appreciate the things that you have around you. Appreciate your loved ones, appreciate that quality time. I started thinking about, you know, my kid is growing up so fast, and one day there'll be a point where this won't be anymore. Her willing to be here and like actually hold a full conversation with me and not be attached to an apparatus, her willingness to play a board game with me and her father, her willingness to just chat about things that she wants to chat about. One day she will move on to college, and then she'll move on to her career, and then she'll move on to her relationships, and mom and dad will probably take a back burner. I mean, we've all been there. We've all gone through these stages of life, and having these moments with her right now, they're really fun and they're exciting. Um and I just try to hold on to those. Life is short. So we never know what the next day, what the next month, what the next hour could actually bring. So capitalizing, that's the word I was looking for. Capitalizing on the time that we are forced to sit still. That's surviving to me. Capitalizing on that time. It was funny because, some of my other socials, I just came up with this catchphrase, no power, no problem, right? No power, no problem. Let me tell you, this husband of mine will ninjaneer, that's my term, I need to coin it, will ninjaneer some ish together. I mean, listen, he will disappear for 30 minutes. And I'm like, where? I'm asking my daughter, where did your dad go? Where's he at? Baby, this whole man and came in here with this makeshift air conditioner. When I tell you that helped us survive, baby, you couldn't tell me that wasn't a full-fledged central heating and air system blowing in this house. Well, I lie. Outside of the corner that we were in, keeping cool, and the rest of the house being extremely hot. But listen, he made it do what it do. He MacGyvered some ish. Okay. He put some stuff together out of nothing. And that will forever be so sexy to me. Being with a person that knows how to survive, that knows how to make some shit happen, that knows how to rock and roll when you need to rock and roll, that is so sexy to me. Not a six pack. You got a six pack, that's a bonus, you know? That's a bonus. You a pretty boy, that's a bonus. But when you pretty and you can't put nothing together, we got a problem. I don't need you at that point because we in the same damn boat. I can't fix it. You can't fix it. What we gonna do? Look at each other how pretty we are? No, thank you. Okay. That's one thing I cannot do is be with a man that can't fix some shit. Sorry. That's just my opinion. Kesha said it. That's what this platform is all about. If you can't go out there and MacGyver up some stuff in the time that we need you to MacGyver up some stuff, then guess what? You have no place here with me. And that's how it's always been. That was on my checklist when I was back in the day in the dating field. And if you show me that you can't hang a picture on the wall, you can't change a tire on a car, you can't hang a TV, you can't come get me on the side of the road, you tell me to call AAA, you cannot cut the grass. You cannot put some boards up on the fence if we have a storm and they fall down. You can't come up with ideas on how to make this house function. Baby, you couldn't even say hi. You could not even say hi. And let me tell you, back in the day, I had a real nasty attitude. Like, God has really brought me to my best self. I think God and my husband have really brought me to my best self because back in the day, I had a real snake attitude. Um, I was about 60 pounds lighter, and I was rocking bobs before people was rocking bobs. And you couldn't tell me nothing, honey. I was like, oh no, I already knew what I wanted. I had the list, prayed to the Lord about it. And if you wasn't on that list, you had, if you couldn't do 70% of my list, then you could not say hello to me. That's just how I roll. Man, I wish I could cue Sierra. That's just how I roll. But anyway, but surviving and thriving. So it was hilarious. I got to see him in his element. I got to spend time with my daughter. But I really felt for others, that older people that were trapped in this heat alone, people that had devices that needed to function off of electricity, being trapped with no family and being alone, figuring out, oh, how am I getting to this cooling center? How am I getting somewhere? Because in the beginning, nobody had power. Nobody. I think people started getting power 24 hours after, yeah, about 24 hours after the storm passed. So that's a long time to be without oxygen, your oxygen tank, or other breathing apparatuses or things that you need. If you have shots that you take every day and they need to be kept cool in a refrigerator, you have to think outside of the box. Well, I need some ice. I need a cooler. I need to put that in there. Where am I getting ice? Because guess what? Several different places. If you didn't prepare, and I'm sorry to say, we were one of those people, um, there was no ice to get. There was no ice. We went uh 2 days without ice. And now I'm going to say this. Now my husband listening to this, or will listen to this, he will say, I didn't say that. Okay. I told this man, I was watching this storm when they were talking about we got about 3 days out, we got about 2 days out. This is when it's gonna happen. I say, man, I don't know about this. I know they saying because the storm shifted. It wasn't really supposed to come to us per se. We supposed to get some remnants of it. It was supposed to go, I think, like Mexico, Brownsville, further south. Okay, but it made that turn at the last minute and it rolled through us. But something in my spirit kept telling me we need to be prepared. I think we need to get ice. I think we need to get this. I think we need to get that. Now, my husband is a huge gamesman, meaning all things gaming sports. He fishes, he hunts, he does all kind of things like that, right? So we have an overabundance of seafood. We have an overabundance of gaming meat, sausages he's had made, steak planks, all this stuff in both of our freezers. And I'm like, I bought you these big ass coolers for a reason. Put the ice in there. And these are some expensive coolers. Let me tell you, ice lasts in these things for a week. We would have been gravy. But he said, I was just a storm. We've lived through these things before. It's not even coming here. Yada, yada, this. Yeah. Men, right? Men. I'm going to leave it at that. And guess who was looking for ice? 24 hours later. Yeah, he was looking for some ice, honey, because it started to resonate with him. Oh my goodness, power's out. Boom, check. Didn't think that was going to go out because we hardly ever, knock on wood, knock on glass, whatever, lose power out in that area. Power went out. Oh, it ain't going to stay out that long. Boom, check. That lasted longer than you thought. We were 4 days without power. Boom, check. So on day 2, day 3, guess who's scrounging around here like, I need to find some ice. I'm going to lose my meat. I'm going to lose this. I'm going to lose that. Yep. Kesha said it. But they don't listen. So finding ways to survive. That's what we did. We got to know each other. We got to love on each other. We got to sit still. We got to meditate. We got to sleep. Let me tell you, my body needed that sleep. My body got used to that sleep because, baby, when I went back to work on Friday, my body was still craving that sleep. I think it's still today craving the sleep. And we're almost a week out of the storm. Well, we are a week out, but a week back in our normal routine, almost a week back in. So I would love to hear what those of you that live in our area, surrounding areas, how did you survive, Beryl? What did you learn? What experiences did you take away? What are you most grateful for besides power? Drop it in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know. One thing I did get to do once power came on, of course, catching up on shows, but it was so interesting because TP's Tyler Perry's new show, Divorce in the Black, dropped. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that because I had it on my radar. And I was like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot about that. Oh, let me tell you, July is Minority Mental Health Month. Okay. There are so many and I can only speak for my culture, right? The African American community. There are a lot of things that we don't talk about. There's a lot of things that we don't acknowledge for whatever reason, for stigma. There's a lot of things that we don't deal with in our culture. And I really believe that, true enough, some of TP's recent projects have been different, or haven't had a lot of meat behind it, right? But I think this particular movie was good. Now, people are out there saying, oh, it's a Lifetime movie. It should have been on Lifetime. Well, you got to think about where Tyler Perry started. He started on stage plays with bad wigs and horrible sound. Okay. Um, his sound system wasn't the best, but they had a meaning and it kept you entertained and it made you think and you had takeaways from it. So he's parlayed this into, yes, some of his movies are really, really good. But when you take his movies and you compare them to Hollywood caliber movies, you're always going to have something not so nice to say about it because it's not a Hollywood caliber movie. Yes, it could have been Lifetime, but here's the thing. Lifetime, don't knock Lifetime, baby. I love Lifetime. I was raised on Lifetime. Lifetime got me through college, undergrad, and graduate school. And still to this day, I like all of the beyond above the headlines, uh, true crime, reenactment movies, biopics that they do. Okay. They got one coming out on Miss Cleo. That's getting ready to drop on Lifetime. So don't knock Lifetime. Now, Tyler Perry's movies, yeah, maybe if we had a melanin popping version of Lifetime, all of his movies could be on there. The writing is very simple, is very basic, but the message is phenomenal. He dealt in this movie, in my opinion. Now, this is all my opinion. This is what we do on the Kesha Seti show. I'm going to say what I want to say. He dealt with a lot of stigma, things that go on in the Black community. Now, how many times that opening scene, and I don't want to spoil it for folks that haven't seen it yet, but the opening scene is a funeral, okay? And they acted the plum fool. I have not been to a funeral to that extent that they have acted the fool, but I have been to a funeral where they have acted the fool. Okay, if that makes sense. I have not been to a funeral. Let me repeat that for those in the back. I have not been to a funeral where they acted the fool to that extent, but I have been to a funeral where they acted the fool. Now, this is unfortunately sometimes can be seen as normal. We all have dysfunction. Stop playing like you don't. Come on now. Don't do it. Don't do it. You know you got some dysfunction in your family. Now, that's another episode, but we're going to pin it and we're going to move on. So Tyler Perry dealt with a lot of those stigmas. He dealt with mental health. He dealt with institutionalization of our Black men. He dealt with poor people. He dealt with us falling in love with our high school sweetheart. And even though you outgrow that person, you still stay stuck in that marriage for whatever reason, or that relationship for whatever reason, even though y'all are two totally different people than you were when you were 16 and 17 years old thinking you were in love. And this was going to be it. Okay. He dealt with that. He dealt with crazy ass parents. He dealt with, feeling like you're too old to start over. He dealt with supportive parents. He dealt with the solid mother-daughter, not mother-daughter, well, mother-daughter as well relationship, but he dealt with the two-parent home versus the one-parent single mother, angry mother home, bitter mother home. He dealt with how that normal relationship or prosperous, healthy, non-toxic relationship between your parents can look like, the long-term marriage, her wishing that she had that. He dealt with the stigma of being taught to be a good wife. How many of us since childhood has been taught or in some kind of way told this is what when you in the kitchen with auntie so-and-so or granny or nana or whatever you call them, and they tell you this is what you need to do for your man. This is what making a husband happy looks like. We dealt with that. Okay. This is what a good wife looks like. She was fighting. Megan's character was fighting all of this stuff in her head. One thing that really resonated with me was when she went home. When he decided, let me tell you, this is a little spoiler. You would think she would, right? Because her parents were constantly in her ear, you could do better, you could do better, you could do better. He decided, guess what? I want a divorce. She didn't know what to do with that. She wasn't trying to divorce this man. She did not know what to do with that information. Where did she go? She went home and she said, this man is stomping on my heart and y'all are trying to get me to move on, because her parents knew what she needed in her life. They saw a good man that would make her happy, that would give her everything that she wanted and everything that she deserved. But she said, this man is stomping on my heart. This man that I've been in love with since I was 16 years old, this man that you guys told me to be a great wife to, and I did nothing but be a great wife to, his is leaving me and is telling me that he no longer wants to be with me. Baby, honey, when I tell you I felt every emotion that Megan was saying at that table with her mama and her daddy, because that is something, that is a conversation that I probably would have with my parents. When she went home and she went to her childhood bedroom and laid in that bed and cried, baby, let me tell you, how many times have I gone home as a safe space after a terrible relationship, after a relationship failed? Maybe not to, I was already out on my own, but going back to my parents' home was always a safe space. It's still a safe space. My husband get on my nerves today. Guess where I'm going? I'm going to my mama's house and I'm going to lay across her lap and have her scratch my head. Yes, that resonated with me. So for those out there that are saying that this movie was trash, he got 0% on Rotten Tomatoes, this is not good, you gotta dig deep. You gotta dig deep. He did not do, I will say this, a lot of character development. But if you understand your culture and your community, because most of these reviews are coming from his own community, if you understand your culture and your communities, some of that don't need to be said. Some of that is read between the lines. The preacher opening probably 10 minutes of the movie, the funeral scene, and I keep going back to this because this is going to give you your layout for everything. If you know what you're looking for, okay, let me rewind that. This is going to give you the layout for everything. If you know what you are looking for, the preacher told you without telling you that these boys were the town criminals. They had all been institutionalized, raised by this angry lady, their mother, that probably had some mental health, that did not go treated, discussed. She wasn't cared for. She had no support system. Only thing she had was her toxicity of her kids and her relationship, and perpetuating and being the ringleader for all of the negative conflict in their lives. Okay. One was killed doing the stuff that he was doing the stuff that they all were doing. So they had no rearing, they had no father figure. Further in the movie, it goes to say that the daddy died, right? And you find out exactly how the daddy died, and you get to understand how this particular character is dealing with this and the trauma that he has, and not being able to have an example as a father figure. Baby, I could go on and on about this. So people need to go back, watch the movie with open eyes, with the information that you have. Stop looking for people to give you everything in a movie. You have to think. A movie is not something that is, oh, okay, plug and play. Just look at it. You gotta think. It makes you think. If you're a person that is a movie watcher, a movie goer, you gotta read the blueprint. So I need y'all to watch Divorce in Black by Tyler Perry. It came out almost a week ago. Great movie, great acting. I love Megan Good. I love Corey Hardrick. I think Corey played the hell out of that role, baby. Honey, if I didn't know him better, I would think that he was this person. He played the hell out that role. He played the hell out that role. And anybody that's been in a relationship with a crazy person, a crazy man, that has been controlling, and you pull the plug on it and they think they doing something, but then guess what? Watch what you ask for happens, and you like, oh no, then you get that. You get it. You get that moment. So a lot of this movie resonated with me. A lot of it movie. I mean, we've all been in toxic relationships before to certain levels and extents, but thinking about the mental health aspect of this, the institutionalization of the Black man, the support, looking on the other end of the spectrum with the support of a happy, solid family. And this child that came from a happy, solid family chose something on the opposite end of the spectrum. Baby, he did that. Tyler Perry did that. And I can tell you on the last movie I watched, Mea Culpa, it was okay, but it wasn't that good. Divorced in Black is good. I recommend you go watch it. I challenge yourself to dig deep. If you watch it once, watch it twice. I'm guaranteeing you, you're going to miss something the first time. Rewatch the show with different lenses. Come back, drop a comment, drop a line, and let me know what you're thinking. But guess what? That's all the time we got for today. I can't talk this week. Y'all Barrel got me all tongue tied. That is all the time we have for today, let me tell you. But there'll be more. So I'm really interested. I'm gonna leave you with this. Let me know how you survive Barrel. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you think about Divorced in Black. If you watched it and you didn't like it and you're one of the ones on the other side of the fence, please watch it again and then drop me a comment. If you haven't watched it, go run and watch it, but watch it when you have time to really be in peace. You can't watch it and look at your phone. You can't watch it and kind of compare it to another Tyler Perry movie. You can't watch it and you're working on your computer. Just really key into it and take something away from it and let me know what you think. But for now, that's all the time we got, guys. I'll be back with another drop in a couple of days. But until then, bye.